We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win.
A lot of things moving the stock market today. We got some new tariffs, live tariffs, honestly, during the stock market hours, and stock market moving with a lot of volatility. Today, I'm going to tell you guys the news, some supports and resistance, some plays, and tell you guys what to expect for tomorrow with the stock market. With that being said, Apple is down 3%. We got Nvidia up 2%, but let's see how that happens later on. We still got around 5 hours left of market hours. So I just want to give you guys a little market update and kind of help you guys out a little bit more. With that being said, we do got some stocks still red, stuff like that for the week. You know, the week is still looking horrible, not even gonna lie. With that being said, we do got some movement with SPY, you know, moving around these two levels right here. We are in the 5-minute chart right now, but we are kind of fluctuating between the 559 to the 560 level, between the 554 to 555 level. We're kind of just seeing bounces. So if you guys are watching right now and you guys want to make a little play, I'll watch that 560 level. And if it doesn't break above that, get a little put option, let it fall down a little bit, maybe sell it at that 557 and maybe even a little bit lower. But just be very, very careful, follow news. And yeah, with that being said, let's get to some news and then we'll show you guys some more supports and resistance. Just want to give you guys a quick play. So for tomorrow, or after close first on Tuesday, which is today's Tuesday, if you guys didn't know, we got some earnings. It's not really anything really important, but here's the earnings if you guys want to take a little screenshot. But tomorrow, Wednesday, some bigger ones. I'm gonna look at Robot, Adobe, and maybe Tilly's. And yeah, and if you guys are investing in any of these companies, you guys can actually look at that too. But I think iRobot and Adobe is pretty decent ones to look at. So today we had the job openings and some optimism index. Did okay, you know, not really. I mean, the job openings kind of did decent. And then the optimism index kind of was a little bit shy, but it wasn't too bad. But with that being said, for tomorrow, we do got the CPI, core CPI, stuff like that. And then the monthly US federal budget. With that being said, keep your eye on the CPI at 8:30, like 1 hour before the market opens. So just see how it moves pre-market. Next, we got some most active stocks. Of course, Nvidia, Ford, Tesla. Tesla is kind of moving a little bit better than it did yesterday. We fell a bunch yesterday. And then Neo is kind of moving up 10% for the day. So this is one that's kind of moving up a decent amount. I do recommend looking at these stocks too. That being said, we do have a new tariff on aluminum. It kind of got pushed. So we increased tariffs on Canada steel and aluminum imports to 50%. So he basically just added another 25% to it. With that being said, they are kind of going up to record high. And also the factories are now spending more on metal than overseas rivals. So this might affect some of the companies. So keep that on your mind and on your radar. UK will not respond to US steel tariffs, British official says. But we also got some response though. So Doug Ford warned that these policies could lead to a Trump recession. So keep that on your mind too. With that being said, impact on the US stock market. So Dow Jones average dropped nearly 600 points amid growing recession fears linked to the escalation trade war with Canada and China and just overall. The SPY fell 0.6% and the NASDAQ Pros remained decently flat. So we did have Delta Airlines and Southwest Airlines revise their revenue forecast downward, citing weakened demand. So these airlines are going down. But with that being said, Boeing did have a decent climb up today. We are kind of dying a little bit. We're kind of maintaining the market open. So keep that in your mind. We did have a dip and then it's a decent buyback to say. So keep that in your mind. The European and the Asian markets mostly decline with slight gains observed in Shanghai. So with that being said, I talked about it yesterday, but there is a cyber attack on X and Elon Musk is claiming that it was Ukraine behind it. So some momentum, a little momentum chart for 2025 if you guys are interested. But with that being said, let's look at how the markets are moving. So we did kind of hit that bottom and they kind of have a little bounce up. Like I was saying before, we're kind of just bouncing right now. But keep in mind that normally when we have a bounce, yesterday wasn't really a good example because yesterday was kind of trash. I'm not even gonna lie. But let's just say like short term, like you'll see it for a little bit of time where it just bounces up and down, just like we seen here. and then we finally make a break. So let's just use this as an example. It's bouncing between these two lines right here, and then you'll finally make a break depending on how news goes. So kind of like just fluctuating, some news might move it a little bit, and or we just get no news, and then we finally get news and it breaks below. But with that being said, you can also see it rebound too. It just depends on how you want to scope out your plays. If you want to scope out a put option up here, you can, or a call option down here basically. And either way, you could have got a call option here, let it bounce up. That's about $2 upwards. So that you could have made a decent amount of money there. You see that red candle print, maybe lose a little bit of your premium and then sell it out right there. And then with that being said, if you would have bought a put option here, you see it kind of print green. You could have probably just sold out down here or when you see this green candle. But then with that being said, you might have seen it bounce and then make another rip downwards. You might have been able to buy a put option here and then let it bounce down. I think that's kind of what I did. I think I bought a put option here and just let it hold for a couple of, I was going to hold it for a couple of days, but then I seen it break. And then the premium was pretty decent. So yeah, but with that being said, just wanted to give a little example. But with that being said, do look at how price action and the candlesticks are moving. I do recommend sometimes switching to the 1 minute candle just to see, how it's really moving, see how the momentum looks and stuff like that. But with that being said, so for SPY, I think we might be able to retest the upward side of that 560, might either make or break it, honestly, or just have a bounce off and then finally either break below or above. So just keep that in your mind. We can either break above or below, just depending on how news goes. That tariff news kind of moved the market a little bit, but honestly, as we can see, it didn't really move it too much. So, we did have a constant downward trend, but then we kind of made a bottom and then kind of just went back up and then failed at that 560 and then kind of bounced down even more. With that being said, we do have this level right here at the 555, and that's kind of where it's kind of been bouncing a little bit right here. We had like a little bounce recently with that right here, and then it kind of broke it, but I'm just yapping at this point. With that being said, some levels to look at. So I do want to either see if it breaks that 560 or that 555 level. But with that being said, to the downside, after we break that 555, I do recommend looking at that 554, 553, and then 550. If we can break below that 550, it'll be kind of insane. But below that 550, I'll be looking at that 549, 548. I'm gonna just look at dollars, But then the key levels to look at is like 550. We got 549.5 and then 545. And then to the upside, if we do continue up, which we're kind of looking a little bit bullish to an extent. If we do continue up, look at that 560. If we break above that 560, we got some easier levels to look at because we have actual candles. Like you got to go way back to look at the other ones. But with that being said, past that 560, we'll look at 561, 562, 563, and then coming back up at that 566 level, and then coming up to that 570. But honestly, it might take some time to come back up, especially with fears and stuff like that in the market. I really don't think we'll get up to that mark. And with that being said, depending on how we're moving, we're looking pretty bearish overall right now. And we're like, if we can stay below VWAP, fears might come back in, get some bad news, the market can print even lower. We might not see a day that we seen yesterday, of course, on the SPY, but we might see another new low printing today. So keep that on your mind. Be very, very careful while buying calls. I do recommend just scoping out puts. And if we get some good news, just play based on news. If we get good news, play a call. Bad news, play a put. But just see how it moves with the news. We do have Apple moving pretty strong to the downside. It didn't even, it kind of rebound where SPY rebounded, but then we kind of didn't really rebound that much because we had a big candle down, big candle up, and then a little bit of candles meeting VWAP, and then it kind of bounced below VWAP again, and then just been bearish ever since. So I'm pretty bearish on Apple today. With that being said, I'm going to look at that 217, 215, 214, 212, and then that 210 level. And then if we can get a little bounce back up, we might be able to meet VWAP again, but maybe bounce off of it, honestly. But with that being said, back up to the upside at 220, 221, 222, and then see how it reacts on that VWAP. Honestly, VWAP's below 222 now, so just see how it reacts with that VWAP and then that 222 level and then 225. So NVIDIA has been around that 108 level for a while. We've kind of just been bouncing a little bit. But with that being said, just look at these two. Kind of make the same little wedges that we kind of made, wedge it between these two. Just see how it reacts with these two key levels. So 110, we're just going to round it down to 110 to 111 and then 105. So if we break below that 105, which would be kind of insane, But if you break below the 105, I would be looking at that 100 level next. If we can continue downwards, if we actually make a break, and then to the upside, I would look at that 112, 114.6, 115, and then 117. And then I don't think we'll get up more, but especially with the market being uncertain. Tesla has been kind of up and down too. It's been bouncing between that 235 to 219. Tesla has been moving a lot more, but with that being said, with people not really liking Elon right now, and bad news with the market, fears. I'm just gonna give you guys the same excuses. But with that being said, I do recommend looking at it to the downside a little bit more. So look at that 220 level, and if we break below that 220, we might even be able to get 215, 210. We're gonna give you guys some big levels because it moves pretty fast. And if we can break above that 235, look at that 240 to 245. With that being said, Google is kind of moving downwards. But with that being said, we did have Bitcoin down to like that 76 level, and we kind of made a comeback a little bit to that 80K. Honestly, man, I don't know, man. I think with the fear in the market, it's still going to be pretty bearish unless we get some good news. I think we got some decent news. But with that being said, look at Bitcoin at that 85. If we break above that 85, we can probably get, 90, but probably not. I'm just giving you guys big levels. And then to the downside, I will look at that 78, 76, and then that 75. With that being said, MSTR, of course, we did have kind of a push with MSTR, and MSTR is looking pretty decent right now. With that being said, I do recommend looking at that 250 and then going up to that 260 level, and then maybe even 270. To the downside, I will look at that 231 level again. And then if we break below that 231, look at 225 to 220. But yeah, with that being said, thanks for watching the video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Feel free to comment if you guys have any questions, join the Discord, and click those links for some free stocks. Peace out.
Motherfucker, I hate this motherfucker.
No, Sam, that's not how we do it. Let me show you how we take care of the creature.
I hate him.
Let me show you how we take care of the creature.